Welcome to Mission Past, where we look at archaeology and history behind video games whilst simultaneously trying to complete a mission. Today it's Apotheon, the mission to descend to Hades and find Persephone. Simple. Welcome to the Agora of Mount Olympus. Now in Apotheon you play as this guy, Nicandros, a young warrior hero. Zeus and the other gods have forsaken the mortal realm and are punishing humankind, and one of the things that's happening is that the harvests around the world are failing. So we've got to go and see Demeter, goddess of the harvest, and find out what's going on. This game's got a wonderful art style based on ancient Greek pottery called black figure pottery. I'll come back to that in a moment.
Oh, who disturbs the sorrow of my house? A mortal, come to ask for my blessings of growth, I suppose? Alas, I can no longer give such gifts. The fields of men shall forever lie fallow. Zeus has split the heavens from the earth, mortals from gods. Even if I were to break the edict of Zeus, I only hold half the solution. My powers lie with the ripening of things already set in motion. The power of new life, of spring, I gave to my precious daughter Persephone. She reigns far below with Hades, lord of the dead. There she will stay, as Zeus commands. The sweet touch of spring will never bless the soil again.
There's our mission, descend to Hades. Now, black figure pottery was especially common between the 7th and 5th centuries BC in ancient Greece. It dates from the archaic period of ancient Greece. If you imagine the game world as the side of a pot, the red colour, the colour of the clay, was the background colour. And the black came from a slip that was added to it. A slip's like a glaze. It's a mix of clay and water. So you added a dark slip to the surface of the pot and then used a tool like a stylus to scrape away lines to add detail. So Nicandros' arms and his armour, his hair and his eyes would have been, the details would have been scraped away from the slip. Right, so this is the way to Hades. Through the sewers. Once you had your design to make black figure pottery, it required quite a complicated 3-stage firing technique, where each time you would manipulate the amount of oxygen in the kiln, and that would bring out either the red or the black in your design. It was developed in Corinth in the 7th century BC. That's, oh blimey, this guy didn't like me lockpicking. Crikey. There we are. Ah, follow the rats. Right. Okay, we'll switch to our torch so we can see where we're going. Oh, I should have said that Hades in Greek mythology is the underworld, the realm of the dead, and it's also the name of the god who reigns over the underworld. Ah, here we are. Now we've arrived at Charon's Ferry. So he's going to take us across this river, the River Styx, which will take us into Hades. Let's have a chat with him.
What's this? A live one, hmm? You want to cross the Stygian River, you pay old man Charon. Once across, don't expect to ride my boat back again.
We're going to pay Charon with a coin called an obol, which was placed in or on the mouth of the deceased, and it was to pay him to take you across the River Styx into Hades.
Terrible things happening up above. The dead wash down like water to the river. Only some...
Interestingly, in the archaeological record, there are very few ancient burials that have coins in the mouth, and most have no coins at all. But it is mentioned in several different literary sources, but not often seen in practice.
Few Your living feet have stood on Charon's ferry, although all have sought favors from the Master of the Dead. You are the same as they, I'd guess. Lord Hades will welcome any audience, living or not, but first you must reach the gates of his house. River Styx, with hatred of wrongs. You have me to thank for your crossing. Lethe, with forever sleeping oblivion. Acheron, with the agony of loss.
Here, Acheron is basically introducing us to the 5 rivers of Hades. We're going to have to cross all 5 of them to get to Persephone. We're now across the Styx, so we've got 4 more to go across. That's the task.
But seeing the spark of life again brings some color to this grey old man.
Cheers, mate.
How I miss the touch of skin.
Blimey.
Let us touch the warmth again.
You'll notice that every time I kill a skeleton, or indeed anyone in Hades, they come back. So really, there's no point. So the best thing to do is just run past them. Oh, crikey, if you can. Now, the ancient Greeks believed the souls of the dead existed, but travelled the underworld with no real sense of purpose. At the moment of death, it was as if time froze. So if you died in battle, you were forever bloodstained in the afterlife. We've reached the Phlegathon, the River of Fire. You'll have to excuse me while I say nothing during this section, because it's what's going to happen is as soon as I crank this lever, the flames you see at the bottom of the screen are going to gradually rise. We've got to make it across the map and out the other side before they burn us. And as you'll see, it's quite tricky. Let's go. Quite tricky, especially if, like me, you're no good at platform games. Crikey, that's burning us already. A lot of ladders in Hades. They must have the builders in. Right, we've got to climb up here, crank this lever, and I'm going to neck a health potion because, well, I'm going to get quite burned. Woo. I wonder if the ancient Greeks had ladder climbing in the Olympic Games. They should have. I've climbed more ladders than Fred Dibner in this place. Ridiculous. Aha! Some stairs. What's that? Probably shouldn't be going for this, but it's the Burning Blade. Ooh, quickly, quickly. Just ignore these guys. Whew! Okay, there we go. Now, the other 3. The River Cocytus, the River of Wailing. That's wailing as in crying, not as in Captain Ahab and Moby Dick. Here we go. I wonder if I can switch to my shield. Yes, I can. Right, so we better fend off these guys. I have something called the Shield of Thorns, which deals back any melee damage that enemies do to you. In this game, all of your equipment, your shields, your swords, your bows and arrows, everything, receives wear, and after a while, they break down. You can see at the bottom of the screen next to my sword that it's almost fallen to pieces. And when it does, I'll switch to another weapon, which is the burning sword I picked up. And it's doing a great job. If I can do a bit of... There we go. Bit of ladder camping. Ross, pay attention, son. God, I'm almost dying here. Oh, I've fallen off. That's not good. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Okay, well, that was one way of doing it. Not quite sure that's the way of doing it. Black figure pottery, the aesthetic of this game, was in many ways superseded by red figure pottery, and it was made in almost the opposite way, whereby the black slip that you added created the background rather than the vessel itself. The slip was also painted on to create details, and this gave the producers a lot more artistic freedom. We'll have a look at some real-world examples in a second. But first, the Acheron, the River of Woe. That's woe as in sorrow and woe, not woe as in whoa, gnarly dude. Although this is pretty gnarly, this bit. We've got to stand on these pressure pads and then that will slowly open these doors. I'm guessing it's going to be full of enemies. Yes, it is. Ah, goodness me, this is terrible. It's supposed to be an ancient Greek champion. Pull your finger out, Nicandrios. Oh. Come on. Think of the grit and determination of the 2004 Greek national football team that won the European Championship by only scoring corners and defending with everyone behind the ball. Park the omnibus. I think that's Latin, actually. But... Objective complete. Now, just one more. The Lethe. That's the final river that we need to cross. So it's somewhere on the right of the map. So let's get back to our torch. Let's drink a health potion. Ignore these two old geezers trying to fondle us. And we'll continue. Black figure pottery on the left from the Archaic period. Red figure pottery on the right from the Classical period, which came after that. The black figure pottery tended to depict classical mythology, the Trojan Wars, gods and heroes. And this example shows the heroes Achilles and Ajax playing chess, while the goddess Athena looks on in the background. And the red figure pottery more often depicted domestic scenes in everyday life in Greece, like this example showing women playing music and drinking wine. So the black figure style is perfect for this game because we're a hero romping through Greek mythology. Right. Here it is. Here's the Lethe. Now, the Lethe was the River of Forgetfulness, and this is basically a memory puzzle. If you look at those three animals, I think we're looking for the door that isn't one of those. So, no, we had a horse, didn't we? We had a dog, a snake, and a horse. Fish. Yes, we didn't have a fish. And you can see it gets ever more difficult. Crab, dog, squid, snake, dolphin, horse, bird.
Warmth. I can feel the warmth.
Boar? I don't think we had a boar, did we? Blimey, that was lucky. That was unbelievably lucky. I'll be playing the lottery tonight. In the meantime, that's all the rivers crossed. Let's finally go and find Persephone. Whoops. Right, now, I think we come across... Yes, this is a geezer that we killed at the very beginning of this game. And he wants a bit of revenge. So, let's give him a shoeing. This is the boss fight. Oh, he spawned a minion. Come on, Nicandros. Pull it together. Hang on. That's the wrong button. I'm just repairing my sword in the middle of the battle. Hang on, mate. Give me a minute. Just going to repair this. Ah, now I'm laying traps. What am I doing? Oh, should well, I'll edit that out. I'll edit that out. Which is pretty undignified. But in Greek mythology, it was Hermes, the messenger of the gods, who found Persephone. I'd say with a bit more style than me. Crikey, I'm almost dead. This has to be one of the worst boss fight performances ever recorded by man. I actually killed him by accident there, I was sort of swinging backwards. Carrying on with the mythology, I'm a bit better at that. Persephone was only allowed to leave Hades when the earth was in bloom, so basically any season apart from winter. Which sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Cold winter months, nice and warm in Hades. Right, just over here is Hades and Persephone.
A mortal in flesh brings his warmth to my cold halls. To what do I owe the pleasure? We cannot return your loved ones to life. It has only brought trouble in the past. Whosoever comes into our domain remains forevermore.
No. He comes to ask for the return of spring to the world above. He bears the same sadness in his soul as my mother, Demeter. A strong sprout must break through the hard earth to see sunlight, but many more are trapped in the ground forever. Which are you, little seed?
Thank you, Persephone. She's given us her seeds. Sorry, I was just in the middle of a cup of tea. And with that, we will ascend up from Hades, back to Mount Olympus. And that's mission accomplished. It's a cracking game, this. I love the art style and the setting. And we've been to Hades, crossed the 5 rivers, we found Persephone, we talked about black figure and red figure pottery. So let me know what you think of Apotheon and the archaeology we covered. And, of course, if you like what you saw, subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next video.